In today's modern world, we are surrounded by constant noise, the clamor of social media, endless debates, and a flood of information updating every second. It seems like we are pressured to constantly monitor others, compare ourselves with them, and spend too much time worrying about how others perceive us. Yet it is this excessive focus on the outside that causes us to lose deep connection with ourselves, our true values, emotions, and goals. Today's video invites you to explore a core philosophy of Stoicism focusing on yourself in silence, rather than obsessing over others. This is not just a simple piece of advice, but a way of life and attitude that helps you reclaim peace, strength, and freedom within your soul. When you learn to listen to yourself and remain calm amidst the world's noise, you find honest and profound answers to life's important questions. Have you ever felt exhausted watching endless conflicts on social media, gossip, or judgments about your life? Have you ever been caught in the whirlwind of competition, jealousy, and comparison, forgetting the most significant thing, who you are and what you want? If yes, you are not alone. This is a common condition in the digital age where looking outward is easy, but looking inward has become more difficult than ever. Stoicism, a philosophy that has existed for over 2,000 years, teaches us that true power lies not outside, but in our ability to master ourselves, to master our mind and emotions. When you invest energy in improving yourself instead of comparing yourself with others, you build a persistent inner strength that cannot be shaken by external storms. The silence in focusing on yourself is not isolation or social withdrawal, but a conscious choice to keep your mind from being scattered by unnecessary things. In this quietness, you recognize true values, reconsider priorities, and find the path that suits you best. When you learn to be silent and focus inward, you feel lightness and serenity in your soul. You are no longer pushed around by gossip or social pressure. You become the controller of your own story, the author of your life with clarity and wisdom. This journey is not easy because it requires facing aspects you may have once avoided or feared. But it is also the only path to find true freedom, a peace that cannot be bought with money or found outside. Join me as we dive deeper into the power of silent self-focus and how Stoic philosophy can help you live a more meaningful, free, and peaceful life. 1. Time and solitude. In today's fast-paced modern life, carving out time for yourself seems increasingly difficult and luxurious. We easily get caught up in the whirlpool of work, social media, relationships, and daily responsibilities, to the point where we forget that moments of silence and solitude are crucial in our growth journey and achieving inner peace. Solitude does not mean isolation or sadness. On the contrary, it is a chosen state, a time set aside to connect deeply with yourself, to listen and understand your soul without the influence of external noise. Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "A wise man is not someone who avoids the world, but someone who enjoys solitude as a gift." Solitude helps you eliminate outside distractions, observe yourself objectively, and adjust the path you are on. Spending time in silence and solitude allows you to ask profound questions about your values, goals, and ideals. It's also a time to replenish your mental energy, restore emotions, and build inner confidence. However, not everyone easily embraces solitude. In today's society, many people feel fear or anxiety about being alone, associating solitude with lack or weakness. In reality, learning to love solitude means learning to befriend yourself. It is the path to inner freedom. Creating personal space, even just a few minutes a day, for quiet sitting, meditation, or journaling can help improve focus, reduce stress, and enhance mental health. Moreover, solitude can be the foundation for building higher quality relationships. When you are strong and clear about yourself, you choose people who truly fit and add meaning to your life. In this video, we will explore deeper the power of time and solitude, and how you can use these moments to grow personally and find true peace within your soul. 2. Exploring self-love. Self-love is one of the most important and necessary journeys in everyone's life. It is not just a catchy phrase or an abstract concept, but a daily practice of the foundation that helps you develop mental health, balance emotions, and live a more meaningful life. Loving yourself does not mean selfishness or arrogance, but cherishing, accepting, and caring for yourself with kindness and patience. It involves understanding your strengths, weaknesses, limitations, and mistakes without judgment or denial. Many people in modern society fall into a vicious cycle of self-criticism, feelings of inadequacy, and comparison with others. This causes mental suffering and reduces motivation and personal growth. Self-love is the way out of this trap. Self-love begins with recognizing and listening to your own needs, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. When you learn to care for yourself, you know when to rest, when to encourage, and when to forgive yourself. This journey also requires learning to forgive past mistakes, not letting them define your worth. Forgiving yourself does not mean shirking responsibility, but freeing your soul from the burden of regret and pain. Stoic philosophy emphasizes that we can only control our actions and attitudes, not circumstances or past mistakes. When you practice self-love based on this understanding, you become stronger and more peaceful. Activities such as meditation, journaling, taking care of your health, and setting healthy boundaries support you in nurturing self-love. Most importantly, create a positive environment where you can grow and be fully accepted. Loving yourself also means prioritizing yourself, not selfishness, but a prerequisite to love and help others fully and sustainably. Finally, remember that self-love is an ongoing process requiring patience, mindfulness, and daily practice. When you invest time and affection in yourself, you build a solid foundation for a joyful, happy, and free life. 3. Be self-sufficient. Self-sufficiency is one of the most important qualities that help each build a stable, peaceful, and meaningful life. In today's rapidly changing and pressured society, the ability to be self-sufficient becomes even more essential for maintaining inner freedom and mental strength. Being self-sufficient does not mean living isolated or detached, but refers to the capacity to rely on yourself emotionally, mentally, and in actions. It is the freedom from excessive dependence on others or external conditions to feel happy and secure. Stoic philosophy emphasizes that true freedom begins from within when you control your thoughts, emotions, and actions, instead of being controlled by external factors. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, said it is not things themselves that disturb us but our opinions about them. Self-sufficiency starts with the awareness that you have the right and responsibility to steer your own life. You cannot control every circumstance, but you can control how you face and respond to them. This makes a huge difference in how you experience life. Self-sufficiency also means being self-reliant in necessary areas, from finances, health, and mental well-being, to life skills. When you have a solid foundation in these aspects, you are less shaken by external factors and maintain stability in all situations. Building self-sufficiency requires persistence and training. You need to learn to make independent decisions, take responsibility for your actions, and not avoid challenges. This helps you develop confidence and self-esteem, two essential components of self-sufficiency. Practically, self-sufficiency also helps you maintain healthier relationships. When you are autonomous and not overly dependent on others, you set clear boundaries and avoid harmful or binding relationships. Moreover, self-sufficiency is the foundation that enables you to adapt and grow in any circumstance. When faced with difficulties, you can adjust, find solutions, and keep a positive mindset. To cultivate self-sufficiency, start by establishing positive habits, managing personal finances, maintaining physical and mental health, learning new skills, and practicing patience with yourself. Finally, remember that self-sufficiency is not a final goal, but a lifelong journey. It demands awareness, perseverance, and faith in yourself. When you master self-sufficiency, you truly experience deep freedom and inner peace. 4. Care for yourself, inside and out. Caring for yourself is not just about paying attention to your appearance or maintaining a healthy physical lifestyle. It is a comprehensive process of nurturing your mind, emotions, and body to help you develop into a complete and balanced person. Caring for yourself inside and out is a crucial foundation for building long-term health and inner peace. Firstly, inner care begins with understanding yourself, clearly recognizing your deepest emotions and needs. When you take time to listen to yourself, you can identify pressures, fatigue, or hidden areas that need release and healing. This self-awareness helps build confidence and resilience in life. An essential part of inner care is practicing mindfulness and meditation. Quiet moments help soothe the mind, reduce stress, and enhance concentration. Mindfulness also helps you connect more deeply with the present moment, thereby increasing peace and happiness. Outer care is not just about maintaining physical health through proper diet, exercise, and rest, but also creating a positive, clean, and comfortable living and working environment. A tidy, organized space helps calm your mind and improves productivity. Caring for yourself also includes building healthy habits like getting enough sleep, drinking enough water, limiting stimulants, and maintaining a positive attitude in relationships. All these factors together create holistic health. Stoic philosophy encourages us to control what is within our power, including actively caring for ourselves. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Work for your soul as you work for your body." This reminds us that both mental and physical health need to be prioritized and maintained. When you care for yourself comprehensively, you not only improve life quality but also develop self-respect and a better ability to face challenges. You will be less stressed, fatigued, and able to maintain clarity and composure in difficult situations. Moreover, self-care helps maintain balance between work and personal life, preventing burnout, a common issue in modern society. Finally, remember that caring for yourself is an ongoing journey that requires patience and mindfulness. When you invest time and love into yourself, you build a strong foundation to live a healthy, happy, and fulfilling life. 5. Learn to manage your finances. Managing personal finances is one of the most essential skills that help you build freedom, stability, and control over your life. In modern life, money is not just a means to meet material needs, but a tool to establish a solid foundation for spiritual and physical development. Stoicism teaches that wealth is not the ultimate goal, but a means to live a virtuous and peaceful life. Marcus Aurelius emphasized, "Remember that wealth does not make a man happy, but the fullness of the soul." This means you need to learn how to control your finances instead of letting finances control you. Effective financial management begins with creating a clear budget, knowing how to allocate income for essential expenses, savings, and investments for the future. You need to build habits of tracking and evaluating daily spending to avoid falling into uncontrolled consumption cycles. Learning to save not only helps you prepare for emergencies, but also lays the foundation for investing in personal growth and new opportunities. Saving is an act of respect for yourself and life. Stoic philosophy also teaches moderation, knowing when to stop and not being swept away by endless material desires. This helps you maintain self-control, avoid waste, and keep peace in your soul. Moreover, understanding investing and how to work with money helps increase your assets, create passive income, and enhance long-term financial stability. This allows you to avoid dependence on external fluctuations and focus on personal development. Financial management also helps you build confidence and decision-making ability in all aspects of life. When you know where you stand financially and have a clear plan, you feel more secure and stable facing challenges. Learning to manage money well also shows respect for your time and effort. Money is the result of labor and intelligence, so using it wisely optimizes the value of your life. Finally, financial management is an ongoing journey requiring patience, learning, and adaptation. You will face failures, but each setback is an opportunity to grow stronger. When you master your finances, you are also mastering your life and inner freedom. 6. Dignity in relationships. Dignity in relationships is one of the crucial factors determining the quality and sustainability of the connections we build with others. Maintaining dignity not only protects yourself, but also creates respect, trust, and understanding in social relationships. Dignity here means the ability to uphold self-respect, honesty, and respect for others, even in difficult or conflicting situations. It is reflected in how you communicate, set boundaries, and handle conflicts responsibly and wisely. In modern life, many people get caught up in arguments, misunderstandings, or external pressures, leading to a loss of calm and dignity. Stoic philosophy emphasizes that dignity is not something you give away carelessly, but a precious asset you need to guard and protect. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, taught that no one can take away your dignity unless you allow them to. This means dignity lies within your control, independent of others' actions or words. Maintaining dignity requires knowing how to establish clear boundaries, protect your rights, and respect without becoming rigid or hurting them. It is a delicate balance between firmness and empathy. Keeping dignity is also related to controlling emotions, avoiding negative reactions or thoughtless behavior when facing pressure. Instead, you learn to face difficulties with calmness and wisdom. Dignity is shown through honesty in relationships, not deceiving or superficially pleasing others. Sincerity is the foundation for trust and long-term bonds. When you maintain dignity, you not only elevate your value, but also inspire and positively influence those around you. A person with dignity is respected not only for what they say, but for how they live and behave. Finally, dignity is an inseparable part of personal maturity and inner freedom. When you uphold dignity, you live authentically and refuse to let anyone or any circumstance diminish your worth. 7. Cultivate serenity. In a life full of turbulence and challenges, serenity is a precious state that many seek but few truly possess. Cultivating serenity is not simply avoiding difficulties or negative emotions, but the ability to maintain inner peace, even when external storms rage around you. Stoic philosophy teaches that serenity comes from accepting what is beyond our control and focusing on adjusting our thoughts and actions. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. To cultivate serenity, you must first learn to accept reality as it is without judgment or resistance. When you stop trying to control everything and instead embrace change and difficulty as a natural part of life, your mind becomes lighter and more at ease. An essential part of this process is practicing meditation and mindfulness. These techniques help you return to the present moment, observe thoughts and emotions objectively without getting caught up in them. Through this, you develop mastery over your mind and reduce anxiety and unease. Moreover, building healthy living habits contributes to serenity. Sufficient sleep, proper nutrition, and physical exercise all help balance body and mind, creating the foundation for inner calm. Serenity is also nurtured through positive relationships and meaningful social connections. When you surround yourself with people who bring positive energy and support, you feel safe and find it easier to maintain tranquility within. In reality, serenity does not mean a life without storms, but having the capacity to stand firm and calm when facing them. It is a skill that can be practiced and developed over time, not something naturally given. Stoicism advises that maintaining serenity is a personal responsibility. You must actively cultivate positive thinking habits, avoid negative influences, and seek harmony in life. Finally, remember that cultivating serenity is a journey, not a destination. Each day you take time to listen to yourself. Practice mindfulness and live with acceptance. You build a more peaceful and fulfilling life. 8. Act. More, speak less. In the modern world, we often get caught up in talking too much, expressing opinions, debating and sharing views on social media or in meetings. But Stoic philosophy emphasizes an important value: act more, speak less. This is not just simple advice, but a life principle that helps you develop determination, focus, and personal credibility. Actions truly demonstrate what you believe and want to change. While words can be easily misunderstood, forgotten, or meaningless, actions leave a deep mark, create tangible results, and earn respect from others. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, once said, "Don't explain your philosophy, live it." This quote reminds us of the power of silent action. When you work persistently and effectively, you don't need to talk much about yourself or prove yourself with words. Results speak for themselves. Speaking less does not mean you don't express thoughts or feelings, but that you choose the right timing and ways to communicate effectively and sincerely. Silence at the right moment also helps you listen deeper, understand better, and assess situations more accurately. Acting more also helps you avoid empty promises, unrealistic expectations, or pointless arguments. Instead of wasting time talking, you spend that time developing skills, solving problems, and building value. A person who acts more than speaks creates their attraction, trust, and credibility in the community and at work. Such a person is seen as reliable, always ready to work, and delivers real results. Moreover, when you speak less, you also avoid impulsive words and negative emotions that can hurt yourself and others. This helps you preserve dignity and respect in relationships. In life, sometimes action is also a way to show humility and respect for others. Instead of trying to prove yourself through words, you let your actions speak for you. To practice this principle, start by setting clear goals, making concrete action plans, and focusing on execution. Observe what you have accomplished each day rather than counting how many times you talked about it. Finally, remember that action is the common language of humanity. When you act with sincerity and perseverance, you inspire and influence others more powerfully than any words. 9. Learn to say no. In today's busy and pressured life, Learning to say no becomes an essential skill to protect your time, energy, and dignity. Saying no is not just about rejecting a request or an offer, but it's an expression of self-control, knowing how to set boundaries and prioritizing what truly matters. Many people find it difficult to say no because they fear hurting others, losing favor, or feeling guilty about refusing. However, failing to learn to say no easily leads to overwhelmed stress and losing control over your life. Stoic philosophy teaches that personal freedom begins with knowing how to choose and control what we can. And this includes the choice to say yes or no. Epictetus emphasized that a free person can refuse unnecessary things and hold firmly to their principles. Saying no effectively does not mean becoming rigid or disrespectful, but showing honesty and authenticity to yourself and others. You don't need to provide lengthy explanations or justify your decision. A clear, firm no helps avoid misunderstandings and builds long-lasting respect. The skill of saying no also helps you maintain focus on your personal goals and values, avoiding distractions from inappropriate or non-essential demands. This creates freedom to invest your time and effort into what matters. In practice, knowing how to say no helps build healthy boundaries in relationships, not only at work, but also in personal life. Clear boundaries help you avoid exploitation pressure or situations that make you feel tired and unbalanced. To learn how to say no effectively, start by recognizing your limits and understanding your values and priorities. When you identify what is important, refusing what is not aligned becomes easier. You also need to practice firmness and confidence when saying no. It may be difficult at first, but over time you will feel comfortable and realize that saying no does not diminish your value or love for others. Finally, remember that saying no is not a negative act, but a manifestation of respect for yourself and those around you. When you know how to say no at the right time, you not only protect yourself, but also help relationships become clearer, stronger, and more authentic. 10. Connect with nature. In modern life, as technology and urbanization rapidly advance, people are increasingly disconnected from nature in the very place where we were born and have been linked to for centuries. Reconnecting with nature is not just about returning to the natural environment, but a journey to regain balanced serenity and a deep connection with ourselves. Nature is a great teacher, showing us about change, patience, and harmony. The sturdy trees standing firm in storms, the winding rivers flowing endlessly, all symbolize resilience and flexibility that we can learn from. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that humans need to understand their place in the vast universe and view things from a holistic perspective. Nature helps us realize that worries or pressures in life are just a small part compared to the eternity and vastness of the world. Connecting with nature helps relax your mind, reduce stress, and improve mental health. Scientific studies have shown that exposure to nature lowers blood pressure, boosts the immune system, and improves sleep quality. Simple actions like walking in the forest, sitting by the sea, or just gazing at the blue sky are enough to make you feel tranquility and peace. These moments help you escape chaotic thoughts, regain balance, and broaden your perspective. Nature also teaches us to accept the constant change and unpredictability of life. Every season's changing leaves every wave crashing ashore testify to the continuous motion and adaptability. Connecting with nature encourages slowing down, appreciating each present moment instead of being swept away by the fast pace of modern society. This nurtures patience and gratitude, two important qualities for developing inner peace. Moreover, nature is an endless source of inspiration, expanding creativity and thinking. When you allow yourself to immerse yourself in the natural environment, you expand your limits and develop your inner potential. Stoicism emphasizes living in harmony with nature, understanding laws, and accepting life's imperfections. Connecting with nature is a practical way to practice this philosophy, helping you maintain balance and peace amid changes and challenges. Make time each day to return to nature, even if just for a few short minutes. It will be a precious medicine that rejuvenates your energy, soothes your soul, and lets you return to life with freshness and clarity. Modern life, with its endless pressures, challenges, and hustle, can easily make us lose our way and sense of direction. But it is precisely in the toughest moments when we turn inward, uphold dignity, cultivate serenity, and focus on meaningful action, that we find the inner strength to overcome everything. Through today's journey, we have explored key principles that help you build a freer, more peaceful, and meaningful life. From self-love, cultivating self-sufficiency, holistic self-care, learning to say no, maintaining dignity, to deeply connecting with nature, all are met at the ultimate goal of mastering your life and living each moment fully. I want to emphasize that these values are not something you achieve overnight or in a week. They are an ongoing process requiring patience, mindfulness, and consistent practice. But don't worry, every small step brings you closer to true inner freedom and happiness. Start today by taking time to listen to yourself, care for yourself inside and out, dare to say no when needed, and reconnect with the natural world around you. These actions will not only change your life, but also create a positive ripple effect on those around you. I urge you to turn these principles into daily habits. Don't let life sweep you away. Be the captain steering your ship. Learn to stay calm in any situation, act with determination, and live with the highest dignity. You deserve a peaceful, fulfilling, and meaningful life. Let silence, self-focus, and self-mastery guide you on that path. Thank you for joining me in this video. If you find this content valuable, please like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss future videos. Let's build a strong community together where everyone knows how to love, care for, and respect themselves. Start now, and each day you will move closer to the best version of yourself.